Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up with Saturday morning sun, popped on for people of sugar cereal, it's all your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning, we watched Cowboy Bebop. Man, that's
I love that song.
The best intro out of
it really is.
Any anime, any cartoon, anything ever. That's my favorite intro.
Easily. Dude, this intro song is like what got me to appreciate jazz music for the first time.
Yeah.
Like easily. Because I didn't pay any attention to jazz before that. Then I was like, oh, it can be cool? All right.
Oh, this is jazz. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, jazz can be like this. I like it.
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah, I can get some bebop going.
So who suggested this one to us?
This was suggested to us by Doc Trancy via Reddit. Doc has submitted a few things in the past, and he's also joined our Twitch streams a few times. So thank you, Doc.
Yeah, thanks, Doc. I saw his Sonic character.
Oh yeah, it was disturbing. It was very disturbing.
I wouldn't even say it's a hedgehog. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's like
a nightmare.
Well, yes, that definitely, but it's got a giant needle, so it's actually a doc of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah, we did get a few hedgehogs since we asked, so thank you for those who have sent us your hedgehogs.
Yeah.
I think I'm thanking you. I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, we asked for it.
We did. And that might have been a bad idea.
Right. So the show Cowboy Bebop aired from 98 to 99, created and developed by Hajime Yatate, which is a well-known pseudonym for the collective contributions of Sunrise Animation staff. So that's not like a person, it's like a collective group of people. But the leader
interesting.
Yeah, the leader of the series creative team was director Shinichiro Watanabe, and is produced by, obviously, Sunrise Animation Studio. Ran for one season, 26 episodes. In Japan, ran on the TV Tokyo Network and the Wow Wow Network. In the UK...
Wait. It's called Wow Wow?
Yeah, that's it's literally WOWOW. Like, those are all strung together, one word. The Wow Wow Network.
That's hilarious. Wow Wow.
On TV Tokyo, since it was like a daytime thing, like they only aired, I think, 13 episodes or 12 episodes or something out of the series.
Really?
But it wasn't until it reached the Wow Wow station that they were able to show all of it, because that was a midnight station. So they were able to show like all of the graphic stuff that they couldn't show on the regular one.
And everyone's watching it. They're like, wow. And then the network was like, that gives us an idea.
What a great name.
We'll change our name.
In the UK, it ran on Viceland. In the US, in Adult Swim, Toonami, obviously, which is probably where a lot of us saw it for the first time.
Definitely.
Yeah, and for a short synopsis by Kenneth Chisholm, the futuristic misadventures and tragedies of an easygoing bounty hunter and his partners.
Yeah, sounds right.
Accepted.
It's pretty acceptable.
It's okay.
I'll give you that.
Good job, Kenneth.
All right, Kenneth, you didn't let us down yet.
So who are some of the actors who played in this show?
Okay, so the character of Spike Spiegel in Japan was voiced by Koichi Yamadera, and in English, Steve Bloom. The character of Jet Black, voiced by Unsho Ishizuka and Bo Billingsley. Faye Valentine, voiced by Megumi Hayahibara and Wendy Lee. And then finally, and I didn't know that Ed had a full name. Did you know that Ed has a very full name?
I knew after I saw it written out, yes.
Okay, so Ed, also known as Edward Wong Hao Pepelu Tivresky IV, was voiced by Ali Tada and Melissa Fon. Man, that name, like, where did that come from? It was it was not known to me until I looked it up on IMDb.
Edward is a girl, so we should say that.
Yes, Edward is not a boy, it's a girl. So just to make it a little more confusing, Ein voiced by a dog.
Or Frank Welker.
Or Frank Welker posing as a dog. It happens a lot, guys.
So for few tasty mushrooms out of our big bowl of Cowboy Bebop cereal, almost every episode title refers to a song title or genre/type of music. So, for instance, Section 1 is Asteroid Blues, which is just referring to the blues. Section 5, which we also watched, Sorry, the episodes are called sessions, which is also a musical cue. So the session
I think
5,
that's cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. Is Ballad of the Fallen Angels, which is inspired by Fallen Angel, which was by King Crimson.
Who's King Crimson?
I don't know.
Okay.
In episode 19, or session 19, Wild Horses, the crew is hunting a trio of pirates named George, Harmon, and Ruth. George Herman Ruth is the real name of Babe Ruth, the legendary baseball player.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's actually a lot of
baseball
episodes that do that where they have people named after certain things. There's actually another one coming up that I'll mention. Spike is frequently shown smoking cigarettes with stems bent upwards or downwards. This is a subtle reference to jazz pioneer Dizzy Gillespie, one of the founders of bebop, whose trademark was a trumpet with the bell slanted. In session 5, also Ballad of the Fallen Angels, 2 children try to steal pornography from Annie's shop, and the character design for the African-American kid was originally going to be used for Ed until the director chose to use a white female one instead.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so one of those little kids was originally going to be Ed.
Oh, nice. They say white female, but Ed is very like, I don't know. I guess she'd be white, but I mean, to me, Faye is white and Ed is like something else because Ed is super tan.
Yeah, maybe, but also has like the reddish hair.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. You don't see too many other ethnicities with red hair.
Yeah, the gingers. But she's a very tan ginger.
Those dang gingers, man.
Can't
get away from them.
In session 10, Ganymede Elegy, the bounty head that is turned in at the beginning of the episode is named Baker Poncherello after the 2 motorcycle officers in Chips.
Oh, okay.
I just pulled out 2 of them, but there's a bunch of references to other things. Like the titles are music scores, and then a lot of the characters are based off different things. So there's a lot of pop culture references in here, but it's very subtle.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I like it.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've heard of this show before we watched it, but what are your memories of it?
Oh, man, I remember loving this show. I watched it on Adult Swim all the time. I remember when it first premiered, I had already been watching Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing on Adult Swim, and this one didn't originally premiere with those other ones. And those 2 were my foray into anime for the first time. So I was like, okay, let's see what this one is about, but it's not Gundam, it's not DBZ. I don't know if I'm going to be into it. And then it very quickly became my favorite, and it still is my favorite anime to this day.
Yeah, it's just so good. And it was kind of the same for me. Like, Dragon Ball Z was probably my intro into anime in general. My next one might have been Trigun, but then, yeah, I saw Cowboy Bebop jump onto Adult Swim, and they were showing some other stuff that I liked. So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And it was kind of the same where I just really fell in love with it. It was so, whereas Dragon Ball Z is like for like teenage boys primarily, I would say, at least like old Dragon Ball Z, where it's just constant action, whatever. This actually had a lot more plot to it, and it was very deep, but it still had really great action scenes, and the animation was just gorgeous. So there was nothing that I didn't like about it. I know we would have covered it eventually anyway, so I'm glad it finally came up.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this one for a while. Like, this is the anime that we've always wanted to do, so we're super glad it got picked.
It would be one that I would say would be a good transitional anime for people who weren't quite sure if they would like anime or not, or had never seen any, because while it does have a lot of the things that like animes have, it's not like the eyes getting big and like stuff like that, or the little chibi forms or anything. It's not like that at all. It's very serious in comparison, but it has humorous parts to it as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ed is their only like soft introduction to that chibi-ish kind of style without actually physically doing it. But, you know, the way she acts is the closest thing to that over-the-top anime style. So it's nice that you get just a little bit of that, but the rest of it is much more like a regular TV series or like a movie or something like that. So it's like you said, it's a great introductory anime.
I believe it's set in the year 2070 or 2071. It's set in like the 2070s or something.
Oh, cool. So we're almost there.
Yeah. What I liked a lot about it too was that, and we're starting to talk about it. So I'm just going to jump into the episode, and then we'll transition back into what I was just about to talk about. So the episodes we watched for today's show were the very first episode, highest rated episode, finally a random listener chosen episode, order may vary depending on how the episodes follow chronologically. But let's start with the very first episode, which was Asteroid Blues, season 1, episode 1. And in this one, Spike and Jet pursue an outlaw who is smuggling a reflex-enhancing drug. Okay, so back to what I was about to talk about. So it's kind of set just as an intro to everything. It's set in the future, obviously. It's not necessarily a dystopian future, but it kind of is in a way because there has been this I think it was like a hyperspace malfunction or something on Earth that really kind of blew a lot of it up. There are still inhabitants of it, but it's very much like a desert land now. Like there's not a lot of life left on Earth.
Yeah, it's like the Earth has been, and this really fits into the whole like space cowboy aspect of this show, is the Earth is very much like Wild West again now because it is so like, so much of a desert. There's not nearly as many resources as there once were. To couple with that, the law is kind of fast and loose, and there are still spots of Earth that are sophisticated and things, but a lot of it is just, you land in any like town that you would think of, and it's probably more akin to the Old West now instead of what you would think of. So it's kind of neat. I really like that aspect. And then there's other areas now, like Mars is colonized. Spike was born and raised on Mars. So, it's just kind of like at this point, it's like being like, oh yeah, Joseph's from Texas. He's from Texas. This dude's from Mars, no big deal.
Yeah. The other planets have been colonized, or at least most of them have been colonized. And what I really dug about it is it's not like the kind of futuristic shows you usually see that have like aliens and lasers and stuff like that. Like this feels like almost like natural progression of where we are up to where we'll eventually be if we continue progressing in that fashion. It doesn't feel over the top necessarily. And like you said, it kind of goes back to Wild West mentality just based on the surroundings, obviously with spaceships and stuff, or at least ships that are capable of going into space, but nothing feels so like out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, and I think that's why, you think about this show, you think about like also like Firefly, which is very similar. And from what I understand, it's because Joss Whedon took a lot of inspiration from the show, from Cowboy Bebop, and created Firefly kind of out of that. And it makes sense because they go the exact same route, basically, in that sense of like, there's no aliens and stuff like that. It's all in the realm of possibility in the future. Plus, it's progressing backwards to that Wild West kind of style. So this show's great in two ways, because this show itself, I think, is one of my favorite shows of all time, definitely my favorite anime, and it influenced one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Yeah, and actually, having just recently seen Firefly, I think last year, towards the end of last year, for the first time, I could definitely see the similarities.
Oh, yeah. You get that same feel, and it's just great. I love this kind of genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, aside from that, I mean, I guess we can talk a little bit about the intro episode. We've got our main characters, and here's something, like, I don't want to give like big plot points away, because I really think that if people haven't seen this, that they should. And that's not to say that we can't talk about the episodes we watched, because there's nothing like super spoilery about it, but I definitely don't want to touch on the ending at all.
Yeah, we won't ruin the ending for sure.
So the person that they're after in this episode is Asimov Solensen, and he is basically a drug dealer. And this drug it's actually really cool. And I'm like, man, if I could find this thing, what it is, it's called Red Eye. And when he first was trying to give an example of what it was, Asimov to the guy he was dealing to, I thought it was going to be a needle in his eye.
Oh, I did too. And I was like, ah.
I know, I was getting so nervous. But then it's just like a spray. It's like an eye spray. And it literally turns your eyes red, like bloodshot. But what we get to see afterwards is some people are hunting him down because he's stolen this big shipment of Red Eye from the people he previously worked for. And so there are all these people after him trying to kill him. So immediately after he uses it for the first time, we see this. This is the first big fight we get to see, too, where all these people come gunning after him. But his reflexes are so fast. And I love the way that they play it off, too, where you get to see, you see him like moving around and you're like, is he like dodging these bullets or what? And then you actually get to see like a bullet coming towards him. And it's like an inch from his face, and he just like darts to the side and dodges it. And at this whole time, he's looking insane because his eyes are wide open and bright red.
Yeah, this drug is pretty much PCP with superpowers. So yeah, it's crazy, but it's just like, as as interesting as it is, like the powers that he gets where he can move really quick and stuff. I mean, it is temporary, like any high. And it really, I mean, it seems like it really messes with your mind horribly. It makes you incredibly violent.
He's also with this other woman. I don't think we ever get to hear her name, but he's with this woman, I guess his girlfriend, his wife, whatever. And she's trying to encourage him not to use it anymore because I guess he's gone too far with it. And that's a good foreshadow of what is to come a little bit later. And so there's all these people after him. You know, we get to meet Spike and we get to meet Jet together, and they're on the Bebop, which is the name of their ship. And they are bounty hunters, which are referred to as cowboys in this universe, hence the name Cowboy Bebop. So it's like they're after him, and it's kind of like a small fry sort of drug dealer. So it's not worth a
big
ton.
Money.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 2.5 million wulong. So I'm guessing inflation is just insane if 2.5 million isn't very much.
Well, if I had to guess, I'm going to guess that that's maybe like $100 or something to them, because like the reason they take it is because they're running out of food. And like there's that joke that Jet's making, was it green peppers and steak or something? Or peppers and beef, but there's no beef because they're out of beef. So he just makes peppers. Yeah, so he's not worth a lot of money, but they need just any kind of money at this point. So he's like, he's a small fry, but should be an easy job. Let's just do it. And just real quick to describe the two of them, Spike is kind of he's like a kung fu martial artist in a way. Like he practices and stuff, and he's very good at kicking and dodging and some street fighting and stuff. But you know, we don't know of any training that he's actually had. He's always dressed in like a casual kind of suit, not like a tuxedo kind of thing. I mean, just like a leisure suit sort of deal. His hair is really messy. He's always smoking a cigarette, talks real slow. You know, he's got a little bit of an attitude, a little bit of cockiness to him, but he doesn't talk too much. Like he doesn't go out of his way to like meet people and talk or something like that. He only talks to who he's with, and if it's required by his job, you know, to get closer to the guy he's hunting or whatever. But and then we got Jet, who's like a former, I believe he's a former cop. Yeah. He's older, he's grizzled, he's a big dude, like he is the muscle. He's got a metal arm that we never, I guess we do hear somewhat what happens, but we don't really know the full story of why he's got a metal arm. He's usually pretty critical of Spike because he thinks Spike's kind of a moron in a way. Like Spike's always getting himself into trouble when he needs to just kind of like tone it down and stick with a plan or something. And just the one that's always kind of like cooking the food, letting them know when they're out of the money, you know, things like that. Usually calling more shots behind the scenes than actually fighting. So yeah, that's basically the two of them.
Spike is like, he's talented, but he's also rash and kind of lazy. Yeah. So it's like, it's very contrasting in the type of style that he has, but especially them together. Like even though they're good friends, and it shows, they're also often at odds with each other.
Yeah, they fight constantly.
Yeah. So I had a question, and I didn't really look into it or anything. So it's just like, maybe it's obvious. Is Spike's hair green or is it black?
I think it's, I honestly think it's green.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe it's supposed to be more like, if we were translating it to real life, I think it's supposed to be like a mossy brown color. But okay. I mean, in the show, it's definitely green, which isn't that weird because Faye's hair is purple.
Yeah, you know what? I guess you're right. I guess it's not too far-fetched. I guess I just like, whenever someone's hair is like looks dark and then has some kind of hue to it, I wonder if it's just black reflecting different color lights or something, or if it actually is supposed to be that color. But I guess
I think it's supposed to be green because it's always reflecting green no matter what.
That's true. Okay, well that was all I had. I just was curious about that. When Spike finally encounters Asimov, it's really cool because we get to see some of his skills at work, Spike's, where he obviously has some sort of experience with thievery of some sort, because he is able to, you know, he's talking to the Asimov's woman,
who's very pregnant looking at the moment.
Yeah, and I And, you assume she is coming into it. And so, he reveals that he's a bounty hunter and after them. And Asimov comes out and starts literally choking him from behind. And she tells him to stop. And so he drops him. And that's part of his rage, his anger coming out probably from overdosing or overusing that red-eye drug. We got to see Spike grab something out of Asimov's pocket. And we see that it is the red-eye that he had on him. So that comes up a little bit later and turns into what ends up being kind of a space fight. What was kind of disturbing was seeing Asimov use the rest of that red eye.
Yeah.
Where he breaks it open and I guess he pushes it so hard that instead of just getting the spray, it pours the whole thing in his eye.
Yeah, and just he is bugging out hardcore. That dude looked like if he... if he hadn't met the end he had, he probably would have overdosed, and it looked like he would have had a stroke or an aneurysm or something because his eyes were so swollen and the veins are sticking out so hard in his head, and he's literally going insane. I mean, just completely savage, he's got rabies or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's really unnerving, honestly. What's interesting is before everything comes to a head, Spike did have a small little moment with the girlfriend where they had kind of a connection. He made her giggle, and she obviously didn't want Spike to die. I don't want to say she cares about him, but on a personal level, but she cares about him as a person. I think just being another person. So when Spike is pursuing them into space off of Earth, there's a big cluster of police waiting for them. And the woman's kind of in dire straits because she knows that this is the end for her boyfriend and stuff like that. He's done. So she actually shoots him in the head.
Yeah, puts him out of his misery.
Yeah, and kind of locks eyes with Spike. And then she says that line that she said it earlier in the episode 2, adios, cowboy. And then the police just light them up, Bonnie and Clyde style, and just destroy that ship that her and her boyfriend were in. And that's the interesting part is you see we thought she was pregnant. So you're like, oh God. But it's actually, you see just all the vials of bloody eye or red eye or whatever you want to call it are floating out of her ripped up dress. It's oh yeah, she was smuggling, she wasn't actually pregnant. But you get that you still get that kind of pit in your stomach kind of reaction, and you're like, dude. And, it's playing that slow, moody blues kind of music, and Spike's just got that look of half shock and half sorrow on his face as he goes, heads back home.
Yeah, it is definitely a great episode to open with because you think it's going to be kind of Asimov is completely unlikable and unrelatable, and he sort of is he's almost too far gone. But then you have his girlfriend on the other side of that is that humanizes that couple in a way where you really feel for them, or at least feel for her. All they wanted to do, they're selling these drugs to try to get away to go to Mars and I guess settle down and live peacefully.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
It's there's rationale behind it, and then it's oh man, now you have compassion for these criminals, and it's that's a great telling of a story.
Yeah, absolutely. It's two people that got in over their heads in the wrong stuff. They had a plan to get out of the life, and then it just all fell apart.
Yeah, literally.
And so did they.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So the second episode we watched for today's show was The Ballad of the Fallen Angels, season 1, episode 5. This was the highest rated. While searching for Mao Yinrai, an executive at the Red Dragon Syndicate, Spike ends up confronting Vicious, his old enemy.
Dude, Vicious may be one of the scariest villains in any animation I've ever watched. He's just so unnervingly creepy because he's just so cold and soft-spoken and every time he's in scene, you're kind of you get chills.
It's kind of funny, how the soft-spoken villains are kind of scarier than the really over-the-top ones because you never really know what they're going to do, but they seem so confident that they don't have to yell and shout out what their plans are or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is terrifying. And he's got that scary-looking crow that lands on his shoulder.
Yeah, and he walks around with that sword, and you're just oh. Yeah, he's like a The best way I can describe him is it's like Sephiroth, kind of. You know, he's that pretty scary kind of dude.
With the long white hair.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, he really freaks you out, honestly. And the more you see him, the more you're scared of him.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, you don't know what to expect from him. Like one moment he's just standing there talking, and next moment he's like killing someone in cold blood.
Brutally. Yeah. Viciously, if you might say.
If you will.
This it's not entirely clear what's happening at the end of this episode. You know that there's like some sort of big syndicate guys together, and one in particular named Mao. Vicious shows up. Mao looks terrified, like he's about to pee himself. Vicious pretty much, like, as soon as Mao kind of starts pleading, Vicious has his throat slit immediately. So you're just like, oh God.
Yeah.
So a little heads up there, like, again, may not be the best show if you're like 13 years old or so, because it does get bloody and there is some language.
Right. And that's probably why they only showed so much of it on that original Japanese network before the midnight airing on the WoW network.
Right. And there's definitely some like very adult, not so much in the episodes we watched. There's some very adult themes and animation in a few spots. So
yeah,
there you go.
So not necessarily for kids.
No, but then again, I would say not for kids.
We probably watched it as teenagers. So
yeah, I'd say teenagers, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to see worse.
Yeah. And so we hear like Mao Yinrai's last words are something about, if Spike were here, you'd never have done this, or something like that, to Vicious. And then you're like, oh, wow. So there's a connection in some way. You get that, but you're not sure what it is at this point.
Yeah, they've got some sort of past. That's all you really know.
Mm-hmm.
And man, just, you know, I don't want to get too far into it, but like that, as that story plays out through the show, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
We also get to see Annie, or we get to meet Annie, who is the owner at the shop. And that's what I was talking about earlier with the kids who try to steal porn from her. And then like she catches one of them. And then we see again, like Spike come in and do his like sleight of hand thing where he takes the magazine from the kid.
That was funny. He's like looking at it like, huh.
Yeah. And then the kids. So and then it turns into like obviously Spike knows Annie and he's having a discussion with her, and they have a past of some sort. And you see in a picture that's on her countertop, you see Mao Yinrai with Annie. And then is that Spike in there also? I wasn't sure who the other person was.
I wasn't sure because I don't feel like it looked that much like Spike. If it was a young Spike with different hair, but
right.
I could not tell from looking at it. I figured that it just might be somebody else.
Yeah, and it could be. So they all have a past together, and she's warning him against going after Vicious or anything like that. And he's just trying to get more info on it. Like he's trying to basically, like, they're drinking together.
Well, yeah. And the whole reason that he's there is a bounty went out for Mao, like a huge bounty. And Jet's like, you know, that's garbage. We shouldn't go after it. That's big leagues. We can't do that. Spikes just immediately goes out. And Faye, who is now part of the team, she just kind of is there, and Jet will not ever claim her as part of the team. Faye is kind of a know-it-all, scrappy female bounty hunter that uses her looks and charm to get close to people and turn them in and stuff. And she does some digging, and she thinks that she can find the guy. The reason that Spike goes out is Spike's like, Mao's dead. He knows that Mao's got to be dead. There would be no way a bounty would go out on Mao. And he knew pretty much right away that it was basically a trap to lure Spike out. Right. So he goes to Annie. He's like, what's the deal? What's going on?
Yeah, trying to get more info out of her. And then, like you were talking about with Faye, she also goes out looking for this bounty, ends up at this opera house where Mao was supposed to be. But again, like you said, it was a trap. And we get to see, like, we see Mao sitting down, and she is kind of led over to sit by him. But then we see, obviously, since he had been killed earlier in the episode, we see his bloody neck and face there. Are like, oh, that's really disturbing.
He's been dead a while.
Yeah. So she is captured. And so now Spike has more incentive to go because he needs to rescue Faye.
Well, it's funny because they kidnap her, And it's Vicious behind it because he's like, oh, even more incentive. He has Faye call the Bebop, and Jet's like trying to hang up on her, like, I'm not helping you kind of thing. But Spike's just like, where are you? And it's, and I think only part of it's to rescue Faye. I think part of it is because he knows, like, he feels he has a duty to take Vicious down.
Right.
It's just kind of like an unspoken drive that he's got. He doesn't talk about it. He just is like, Vicious is causing stuff. I'm going to have to go take care of this sort of thing. Like, he feels responsible for Vicious's actions, I guess.
When Spike does confront Vicious, I like the line that he uses, that Vicious uses, where he says, when angels are forced out of heaven, they become devils.
Freaking.
I know.
Oof. The way he says it. That whole scene is amazing. The whole fight scene, like, it takes place in this cathedral, and as Spike's walking up to it, the music that plays is so haunting and scary, and then the fight that takes place inside of it, like, the whole scene is just amazingly done.
Yeah, it keeps ending up as like stalemates, and then it comes to a point where it's like Vicious has his sword on Spike and Spike has his gun on Vicious. It's that standstill, like I said, and then I think like they kind of both shoot and stab at the same time, and then Spike throws out a grenade.
Yep.
And then you get this explosion and Spike kind of gets blown out the window.
What was interesting was, like, what happened there was Vicious grabs Spike's head and shoves him through the window the second that Spike's throwing a grenade through the window. Like as he's falling, that grenade is going into the cathedral.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like it was like another stalemate. Like, they're both going to die sort of thing. Or are they? But yeah, like, that scene is so cool. And you get all those flashbacks as he's falling that are awesome.
Yes, with the music playing against that. Oh, man. I mean, obviously, we know at this point they have a past together, and then we see some of that playing out, which I won't really talk about. But what I liked about this a lot was we're getting to see how evenly matched they are throughout this fight. Like, this just goes to show that, we don't know at this point what sort of training they've had, but they obviously went through it together.
Yeah, and I like to, one of my favorite parts of this is the turn of, like, Faye, who obviously very much cares about Spike, and you get to see Jet too. It's kind of interesting because, like, she calls the Bebop again and gets Jet, and she's like super upset. She's like, it's Spike, like, you have to help him, and Jet's just angry and doesn't want to deal with it, and shuts the call off, and he gets up and goes anyway, to go help Spike. So it's just. That's very cool. But then I like how you get these flashbacks. Spike hits the ground. You get these flashbacks as he's unconscious of this other woman who's like humming a tune for him. And you see like him injured before and this woman kind of nursing him back. And she's shown in kind of a beautiful light. Like, obviously this was somebody of a lot of importance to Spike, like, in a loving way. And then as he starts fading to black and he starts opening his eyes, in the present, you hear Faye humming the exact same song, and I thought that was really cool. It was a really sweet moment.
And there's even a little bit of comedy as balance at the end of it, where he's like, he's bandaged up, so like his mouth is covered and everything.
He's in like a body cast.
Yeah, and so he's like waving her over to him, and he's just like, "You're singing off key."
That was good.
That was a great episode, but that leads us into the last episode we watched for today's show, which was Pierrot Le Faux, Season 1, Episode 20, and this was Doc's pick, right?
Yes, this is the one that Doc picked for us, and I'm super glad he did, because this probably would have been the one I would have picked also.
This is such a cool episode. After playing a game of pool one evening, Spike walks right into an aftermath of agents getting killed by a mysterious grinning man in an opera suit. That's very vague, but gets the point across.
It's such an interesting episode because it introduces you, one, to this like scary male Mary Poppins guy that is just an instrument of death. But two, like, this was aside from the main story of Cowboy Bebop, because like you said, this happened by accident. Spike just stumbled out into the alleyway as he saw this guy, Pierrot or whatever his name is, just like slaughter a bunch of dudes. I mean, viciously.
His nickname is Mad Pierrot. And Pierrot is a sad clown, basically.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
And so, I mean, it's just this like really rotund looking guy with the top hat. I'm not sure if he's actually that big or if that's just all the weapons that he has stored inside of his body.
A lot of it's the weapons,
Yeah.
I think. Because at one part he opens his suit and there's just dozens of different weapons, grenades, guns, knives, machetes, everything you can think of is hanging inside of this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. And he's also, not to mention, he's got some sort of like powers where he can levitate and fly. And he has kind of like a force field around him too. So like, it's like he's unkillable because when Spike sees what happened, Pierrot, like, he does not let people survive seeing him. So he has to kill Spike so that there's no witnesses. So he goes after Spike and Spike's shooting at him and those bullets are just bouncing off. Like, you can't get through. And Pierrot's just like shooting grenade launchers and rockets and all kinds, like everything he can. He's just lighten Spike up as much as possible.
And what ends up saving Spike in this instance, actually, what ends up saving him throughout the episode is
a cat.
Yeah, Mad Pierrot has this fear of cats that we don't know why right now, but it distracts him enough to where Spike is able to get away because there's no way, like you said, that he can stand up to him or do anything to him with that force field he has going on and all the weaponry. Well, okay, so Jet meets up with one of his old partners, I guess, in the ISSP, which are the space police, basically. Bob, and he's telling him about Mad Pierrot where, he appears with a smile, leaves with a smile, he's an assassin, etc. Not one to be messed with, but he was a former experiment, which we hear a little bit more about later. We jump back to the Bebop and we're seeing Ed for the first time, at least our first time seeing him.
For us.
Yeah.
And Ein.
Oh, and Ein, yeah. Well, Ein's sleeping most of the time, just laying down.
I love Ein.
Just a short description of Ed's like this really tech savvy kid who I guess had been abandoned by her father or something, and so is now part of the crew. This whole crew is basically kind of misfits and people who are alone.
I kind of wonder, like, I don't know if this is their intention, but I wonder if like Ed's meant to be autistic because of the way that she acts, but she's also incredibly intelligent at this one specific thing. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's possible. I know that also she was inspired by the her name's escaping me, but the person who was ahead of the music of the show. Like all this music that you're hearing throughout the show is done by like one group, like led by this one woman.
Oh yeah.
And like I had read some stuff about her and it was saying that like she was so into it that they would want a certain type of music and she'd be like, no, like use this instead. Like here's what you need for this. Like she was very passionate about her music and also very like in the same way Ed is, just very like energetic and whatnot, bouncing off the wall sort of.
And Ed's like impossible to have a true conversation with.
Yeah.
Like you would never have an actual conversation and get honest things out of Ed because Ed is just like incapable of that kind of speaking and stuff. Like she would just make, weird noises and say like short answers, but in a goofy way and roll around and fall over and just weird stuff.
Yeah. Like the Fei smoke.
Yep, exactly. Which is fun in contrast to Ein.
Ein is supposed to be like a really like a hyper intelligent dog. I guess it's supposed to have like the intelligence of a human. Yeah, I mean it's a corgi, but I think it's supposed to be. It's genetically altered to have the intelligence of a human or something.
Yeah, Ein's just incredibly intelligent. Like Ein can play chess, which is funny because like I think it was like and I don't remember if it was in this or another episode, but I vaguely remember Jet was playing chess against somebody, maybe it was Spike or something, and somebody got up and Jet's like, well, we didn't finish the game. And you see Ein hop up on the chair and then nudges one of the pieces with his nose and Jet's like, what? That's actually a really good move.
Nice.
So it was pretty funny. But yeah, so we have those two with us now. They complete the group of the Bebop.
Right. And they're talking about, like they come in, Ed showing them basically their email at this point and talking about a Spaceland party at Mars. They're talking about going and then Spike is basically telling them that he has to go alone and he might not come back from this one, whatever. And they keep calling him a lunkhead. Mars, we find out, is like essentially a planet of entertainment. It's got like casinos and amusement parks and stuff like that. Like it's just loaded with those kind of things. Also where Spike was born, we find out.
Yes.
And so Spike ends up going alone. And this is where we get to see him finally confront again the Mad Pierrot. Man, this got so crazy. Like I loved this, and the ending of it especially.
Yeah, this whole episode, this is one of the best episodes of any anime ever because the animation of this is gorgeous. And the choreography, the way that they drew the fights and everything going on around them is amazing. This all takes place in this theme park called, was it Spaceland?
Mm-hmm.
Mad Pro or whatever. Like he turns the whole theme park on. There's all these animatronics going everywhere, kind of their own accord. I mean, human-sized ones and some giant ones. And all the rides are running like roller coasters, stuff like that. He's gonna kill Spike. He's just adamant. He's blowing everything up. He's shooting everything. He's got it. Spike. Spike is basically like doesn't even get much of a chance to fight. He's basically just trying to survive the entire time.
Yeah, we get to see also like back on the ship, Jet is having Ed like hack into this section 13 whatever of the ISSP, like hack into this mainframe to find out more about Tongpu,
like who this
which
guy
was the code name of the experiments that were done on him, and we see that he had been experimented on, altered on a cellular level for some sort of like ISSP assassination protocol, and he was a failed experiment. So they were going to essentially lock him up or something. And we see him kind of come out and escape. He has been reverted to like a childlike mentality where he's not going to get any better. Like he's going to continue regressing, but he's also got these superhuman skills. So it's like, I think they describe it as like a child with superhuman killing abilities. And that's kind of what we got.
It's basically like if Ed was older and a murder machine. Like that's basically what this guy is.
It's like he's doing it for fun at this point.
Yeah, it's entertainment. It's just something to do. And as like the experiments were happening to him, as we see in these flashbacks, and these are excruciatingly painful experiments, there's always like, there's this cat sitting in the window, and this cat has two different colored eyes, and it keeps kind of zooming in on that as you see him being tortured, basically. So it's like, okay, that's where the cat thing comes in, which we see again, like as he's fighting Spike. They knock over some prizes, and there's like a plush cat that makes like a little meowy noise, and he freaks out and just lights that thing up. I mean, just shoots the crap out of it and everything. So it's the one thing that really gets to him. Another thing I liked here is Faye again shows her concern for Spike by showing up in her smaller spaceship, and I like the second she shows up, she's already just machine gunning the crap out of this guy, just trying to take him out. Like she literally went in guns blazing. Like this guy's gonna die, no questions asked. I'm taking it down and saving Spike, but that doesn't work out.
Yeah, with the cat thing, it's like he's associating that now with that pain, that excruciating pain that he was experiencing, which, like you said, is the reason why he reacts in this way. So we get in our sort of our final scene where he's got Spike dead to rights, like he's about to kill him. He sees sort of a gleam in Spike's eyes that remind him of the gleam in the cat's eyes, and that distracts him long enough to where we see him slowly pulling like a dagger out of the back of his pants. As he throws it, he gets shot by Mad Pierrot, and Spike kind of goes down like because he gets shot in the shoulder, and then it's kind of like a still scene where we see that the dagger has been thrown into Pierrot's leg. And like a child, he then kind of collapses down and starts crying for his mommy and saying how much it hurts because he's not used to feeling this pain.
And that's when the big animatronic parade's coming by, and this giant one steps on him, and you just hear the crunch, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And it's almost better that they don't show anything. Like, it's just the imagining what has happened. You know what just happened. And it's like, man, that is kind of heartbreaking because, again, it's one of those, you have compassion for this villain because he was constructed by the government in this case to be a killing machine, and it was a failed experiment on their parts. And, you know, his mind's kind of been taken away from him. He doesn't know any better, and it's like a scared kid having fun.
As much as, like we said, Vicious is terrifying, this guy's more terrifying, I think. Like, I don't think I've ever been so unnerved by a cartoon character in my life than this
It's that
character.
smile, and then him
the smile, that
grinding his teeth.
Yeah, that noise he makes when he clenches his teeth. Oh, God. His laugh is just scary. So one interesting thing. So the reason that you see that gleam in Spike's eye is because one of his eyes is fake. So Spike has a glass eye.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so there's like and it's only mentioned really subtly before that, I believe. I don't think they draw much attention to it till like, I think it's like the very last episode of the season where it really comes into play. But yeah, you just see a reflection there, and he sees it's two different colors, and it freaks him out. Another thing I just wanted to notice that I thought was funny is when, Faye comes in, guns blazing, the guy shoots her ship down, she lands and she crashes. She's kind of upside down. And she's like, ugh. And one of these animatronic things like walks by. It looks like a scarecrow thing. It's cracking me up because it's like, hello,
Oh, yeah.
hello. And she's like, hi.
It's cool that they have that levity there. It doesn't ever feel forced or out of place. It's just some levity into an otherwise really like deep and heavy show.
And don't let us we talked through this episode and you kind of know what happens, but it does not do it justice. You have to see it. If you watch any episode of the show, this is the one. This episode's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we didn't even scratch the surface. I mean, they're only like 23, 25-minute episodes, but again, we covered so little of it, even though we walked through it. Like, you have to, a lot of this, even though we've described it, you need to see the imagery to really feel the effect.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we call on our own little space cowboys, our inner kids, to tell us what they thought of the show Cowboy Bebop.
This show was so awesome, and I want to be a space cowboy bounty hunter kung fu master and go catch bad guys for money. Plus, Faye is super cute, and she's going to be my new girlfriend. So I give this cartoon 5 bowls of Scary Mary Poppins Man cereal out of 5.
Okay, so I know nothing is perfect per se, but I think this anime comes about as close to it as possible, which is a little ironic, seeing as how it centers around the escapades of a group of imperfect characters. These flawed individuals, however, really help to make the show more relatable and more human even. On top of that, the animation is beautifully fluid, the musical scores are stellar, especially considering they're all done by a single group, and the action scenes were amazing, never feeling meaningless or gratuitous. Overall, I'd give Cowboy Bebop 5 big bowls of Mad Pierrot Pop cereal out of 5, and I would give it even higher if I could. In closing, after I watched the first episode, I'm now convinced that I need to get some of that red eye for improving my video game reaction time. Next time I go to the eye doctor, I'll ask for a Bloody Mary and see if he shows me a stash. Short of that, I'll just pour tomato juice into my eyes until the desired results are achieved.
I like that thought process because we'd probably be able to stream on Twitch more if we were, we had heightened senses and we're better at video games. So I could get down with this.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any laws against performance enhancing drugs when it comes to video games.
I mean, if not, we're probably going to usher that in. So do you have any final thoughts on Cowboy Bebop?
We only watched 3 episodes of it this time, but I do plan on going to watch the whole thing again. It's short, and it's short for a reason. Like, the production team, they wanted it to remain short because they wanted it to be like almost in the same style as Bebop itself. They want to leave you wanting more, but give you just enough to where it doesn't overdo itself or overstay its welcome. I think that other things are coming, not necessarily like follow-ups or whatever, but I've heard that there's the movie that's already out, the animated movie,
which is also awesome.
But there's also supposedly a live-action movie that's been in production for a long time, so I don't know if that's happening or not.
I think Keanu Reeves has been trying to get this off the ground, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen with him in the lead role like I think he's always wanted. But I think it will go forward.
That's too bad, too, because, I mean, him as John Wick, like, that would make a really cool Spike Spiegel, too.
Yeah, I think he's just getting too old for the role, and I think he knows that.
Possible, yeah. Otherwise, I just really love this anime. Again, it's a great entryway into anime if you're not sure. It's a great mainstay into anime if you're a big fan. I can't point out any flaws with it. Like, if anything, I would say it's too short, but even that's kind of beautiful because it gives you just enough and doesn't overdo it. If you haven't seen the show, check it out. If you have seen the show, watch it again. You'll enjoy it just as much.
Yeah, this is absolutely my favorite anime of all time. And like you, like I love it each time I watch it. It's just as good as it always is. So, I mean, this isn't like rose-colored glasses. Every time I watch it, I'm like, yes, this absolutely is worth all the praise that it gets. It's dark, it's deep, it still has plenty of laughs along the side of the action. And like every episode has these moments where 1 minute you find yourself laughing, the next you could be seeing something that makes your heart want to stop. And I love that about this show. So I absolutely recommend this show to anyone that sounds like it's interesting to them. If you like noirs or westerns, sci-fi, especially if you're an anime fan, this is something for you to watch.
It's just a great mixture of things and done so well. The output's even greater than the sum of its parts.
I agree.
So thanks, Doc, for suggesting this. Obviously, we love it, and it was great to jump back in.
Thanks, Doc. We love it, and we love you.
Oh, that's true. We do love you.
And real quick, before we announce what's next week, we have a 5-star rating on iTunes to read here, and this is from Poker Fox. This is a fox that plays poker, I assume.
All right.
Just like Ronan Barber is a Ronan that
Right.
cuts hair.
Exactly.
So his review reads, a great way to kick off the weekend, an entertaining show. It's fun looking back on our shows from our childhood, but with a more mature, critical eye. Well, I don't know about mature. Maybe he means like physically.
Yeah.
These guys really shine when reviewing terrible and dated shows like Rocket Power or Bill and Ted. Keep it up. P.S. They introduced me to the Toxic Crusaders cartoon. It's freaking hilarious. Yes, it is. I love the Toxic Crusaders. That was a really fun episode that we did with Cartoon Remastered. So we just had a lot of fun with that one. But thank you so much, Poker Fox, and let me know when your next poker game is, because I do have a few spare animals to send your way that would love to play.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to put him in like the picture with all the dogs playing poker. Just throw a fox in there.
Yes.
Maybe he's hiding under the table or something.
Poker Fox, I would like to introduce you to Blackjack Badger. Me and him hang out sometimes, so I'll give him your info. You guys can connect.
It's great that we can introduce people to shows also. That's one of my favorite parts of this is when people watch cartoons because they've heard about it on here. And Toxic Crusaders is one of those where I didn't realize how great it was, until I grew up and watched it over. Like as a kid, I liked it because of the colors and the action and whatever. But the humor is so great. It's really fun that he was able to jump into it and appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really glad that not only do you enjoy listening to what we have to say, but that you've been able to check something new out that you wouldn't have otherwise, and that means a lot to us. So I'm really happy that that's happening.
Right, especially for those underrated shows, and I think that's definitely one of them.
Absolutely.
Well, listeners, looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And next week, we'll be watching
Dexter's Laboratory, suggested via Reddit by Christopher1295.
Christopher 1295. Is that the year he was born?
Yeah.
Is he here from the past?
Yes, he is. Man, born a long time ago. I don't know how he's still kicking, but we thank you for living long enough to suggest this.
My assumption, and this is based off pure speculation, is that he's actually from the future, but has gone back to the past to see how his relatives survived back then, and now has come into the present, but still holds on to the moniker of Chris 1295 because he
went to the year 1295.
Yeah, exactly. Like he just wants everybody to know that he's been there, and he wears a tag of that. So it's almost like an achievement tag.
I bet what he did is he traveled back to the past and he planted the seeds for Dexter's Laboratory. Because he's like, if I don't go back to 1295 and plant the seeds for Dexter's Laboratory, that Dexter's Laboratory will never be made.
Well, I'll take it even further.
We have him to thank.
I'll take it even further and say that if Dexter's Laboratory hadn't existed, then potentially an apocalypse would have occurred in whatever year it came out. I'm going to assume 94, 95, something like that. So without Dexter's Laboratory, we would not be here right now talking about this.
It's true.
So thank you, Christopher 1295, for planting the seeds for Dexter's Laboratory that inevitably saved us all, leading us to finally review Dexter's Laboratory next week.
Yes.
So once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
We'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.